Alrighty, welcome back from the album What Is Your Breaking Point? It's the Bantu crew, of course, the lead for the band, Ade Bantu, of course. He's here with us. He put the band together. And we're having conversations about this album, amongst other things. So, generally, though, I like this song. Very melodious, but still very conscious. So, talk to me about the other songs on the album. What else is also. I know over time you've talked about societal ills and the government amongst other things. So which one would you say is the most provoking song from the album?
I think every song might be seen as a provocation. I don't know. It's not like I'm writing music or composing songs to annoy people. I just think
No, when I say, I mean thought provoking as
thought
opposed to
provoking.
yes,
Okay,
yes, as
okay,
opposed to
thought
provoking.
provoking. I think all songs have a point where you reflect. Like if you say look at a song called Your Silence Will Not Protect You. It's all about people looking away when in the face of injustice. It's people looking away when other people are being oppressed. And we just say your silence will not protect you because no matter the walls you build, no matter how many security personnel, even if you live in certain quarters of Lagos, it doesn't protect you. Ultimately, that problem will come and meet you at home. And we have a song that we dedicated to the young people that went out on the streets called We No Go Gree, kind of like connecting to their demands and also saying that we hear you, we see you, we stand in solidarity with you, and it's important that you continue your fight, you don't give up, even if you feel like you've been betrayed, but please don't give up on your ideals, on your dreams. So this is very, very important to us. And then we have songs like Africa for Sale, which is self-explanatory, where not only our old colonial masters are the ones like exploiting Africa, but you have our newfound friends, not
That
only
want
the
to take a
ones.
piece of the pie now.
Yeah, and all of a sudden Putin becomes this hero, which is highly problematic with his Wagner group, of mercenaries who are all over the place in Sudan, in Mali, and in other places. So we're just saying, let's be cautious. Let's be aware of the fact that we're entering one chance again,
Exactly.
and we need to be very, very wary
Speaking
of
of
these
one
new
chance,
friendships. Yeah.
speaking of one chance, how about 10 times backwards?
10 Times Backwards is a song I wrote from a place of anger, I must say. Anger because once I saw what happened in Guinea Conakry when the army took over, and then I saw it spread to Burkina and to Mali. I've been to Burkina and Mali. So it was very saddening, when you have a military personnel step in front of the cameras, like in the 70s, 80s, all the way to the early 90s, where people would just wake up and then just topple democratically elected governments. I find it very, very problematic because it's very paternalistic. They're like, oh, okay, you civilians, you don't know how to handle democracy amongst your ranks, file and ranks. You can't find anybody that can actually voice your demands. So how about us stepping in and saving you? This military savior complex is not something we need in 2023. It's embarrassing. Like the whole world is looking at Africa
They're moving
dancing to
forward.
Burna Boy and celebrating Niger music, and then you have these guys taking us back in time. It's very regressive. Food items have either tripled or quadrupled. So how is that really going to help to mitigate the effect of the suffering of the masses? And then to be more sincere, I mean, let's look at it from the Nigerian angle. We don't know who is going to be able to access these funds. So is it party faithfuls? Who is actually getting this money? How do you, in a system where we can't even quantify the level of poverty that this country is, or states or individuals are going through, how do you know where to direct this funds? So it's not going to be transparent. It's going to the governors, and then the governors hand it out to their lacais, to their friends, to those who are in their good books. So it's going to be highly problematic. And these schemes have never ever functioned in Nigeria because we're used to chaos, and most importantly, there's no transparency and no accountability. Because fast forward in 12 months, are we going to be able to hold the governors accountable? No.
You've got thoughts you'd like to share with us, don't forget we're at 937 Rhythm FM. This is across all platforms, and let us know and take your thoughts as the show progresses. Also, really quickly, AU opposes military action as Ecowas readies forces. Okay, you know, this has been ongoing. We've had lots of talks to try and dialogue with the coupists in Niger Republic, but it seems as though now there might be military intervention. However, the coupists in Niger Republic as well have also formed alliances with people from Mali, Burkina Faso, and then of course we know Russia, the Wagner group. So how do you see this playing out for ECOWAS and also all the other parties involved?
The problem is that ECOWAS should have reacted a long time ago. When I say that, I mean specifically the first coup that we had in Guinea-Bissau. They should, which was unfortunately didn't actually emerge into the military taking over. So it was an attempted coup. ECOWAS did not react when you had Guinea-Conakry, where we now have a military leadership. ECOWAS did not react forcefully there. They didn't react forcefully in Burkina. They didn't react forcefully in Mali. So now they've allowed these military leaders to form alliances, and that is the problem. And military intervention, who's going to fund it? I mean, Nigeria at the moment, we're barely surviving. We're fighting insurgencies left, right, and center. If you look at it, the ECOWAS is just backing as loud as they can, but we know they are not going to be able to bite because it's not a popular move. People in Ghana are not supporting it.
They have the US and the French government.
Are they the ones that are going to intervene on their behalf? No, everybody is waiting on ECOWAS. The United States policies, we're waiting on ECOWAS to intervene. I think what is important to note is that these military interventions have led to a situation where civil society is being silenced in these respective countries. Because if you look at the genesis of it all, people went out on the streets in Mali, in Burkina, even in Niger to protest against their government, and they wanted to hold them accountable. And they formed grand alliances between labor, between student unions, and between religious bodies. And they were at the verge of toppling their governments in a democratic and peaceful way. And what happens? The army comes and takes over, and that is very, very problematic. Same with Sudan as well.
Could it be that if dialogues do work out, we could see a transition from what's going on in the Niger Republic, a transition from the military government as we speak right now to maybe a civilian rule? Because we've seen that happen with other states as well.
The military has no business in politics. So I think this whole approach, very paternalistic, where they think like we civilians, as they like to call us, we can't actually fight and protect our democracy, fight for our democracy and protect it. It's very archaic and it's highly insulting to each and every Nigerian, Burkinabe, Malian, or Guinean, or even Sudanese, because we don't need them. Amongst ourselves, we know what we want, and what we need are stronger institutions. We need to strengthen our institutions so we can hold our office holders accountable. Because if a president of a country, say Burkina, or say Mali, or say Niger, can be held accountable, you can sue this person, the person goes to jail if it is proven that this person embezzled funds or was involved in extrajudicial killings or in corruption or what have you not, then the people will feel like their voices are being heard. So what we need to focus on is strengthening our institutions, because a lot of people have engaged democracy and they feel like they're not getting any dividends out of it. So there's this overarching discontent across boards, But the cocoa of the matter is that there's untapped oil reserves in the Sahel zone that the West and even the Asians have already divided amongst themselves. And conflict plays into the hands of big corporations, you know. So even if they say, just to round up, that they're forcing out French troops, but they're not canceling contracts with French companies or with other Western big corporations. So it's mind-boggling when you see young people all overexcited, or Africans in general are excited that France is being kicked out. France is not being kicked out. It's just eye service, as we say in Nigeria. It's business as usual. Africa is still for sale to the highest bidder.
Really quickly, let's also talk about imported food and also the prices of things going up. So from this Nigerian newspaper, it says imported food inflation soars at 19.94% amid pressure on Naira devaluation. And also from the Friday leadership, it says smuggling operational costs threaten rice production in the north. So we see that food prices keep going up. The Naira is devalued. You know, there were talks prior to this week that, you know, the prices of PMS are going to go up. And things are just keep rising. What are your thoughts about this? And how do you think the government can best tackle the situation?
I mean, we have to wean ourselves off the mentality of import and consumption, you know, we're in this hyper-capitalist vicious cycle, you know, where we've been for generations, thanks to oil boom and what have you not, and even after the oil prices crashed, Nigerians are still kind of addicted to importing. But then we must understand that it is very difficult in a country with no infrastructure when it comes to moving goods across the nation, you know. So if you're trading in perishables, it's a gamble. It's a big gamble. And so what we need is more investment in infrastructure. What we need is the government to be sincere, because they keep on coming with one new scheme after another. I've heard Operation Feed the Nation, what have you not, all kinds of slogans. But are they really putting their money where the slogan is or where their mouth is? No, not at all. So Nigerians are cynical and wary of all these new ideas that are just being repackaged and that are leading to nothing, you know. So government intervention is very, very important. Subsidy for farmers, accessible loans, you know, and transparency in the allocation of these said loans, you know, across board, and accountability. Yeah, I don't know if a loan to a farmer can be called a palliative, you know, but yeah, if we're talking about food insecurity, but food insecurity is a major issue. And if it's not addressed, remember, in 60, 70 years, our population is supposed to triple. You know, then we have a serious issue. We have a crisis, you know, and then it's going to explode in our faces.
All right, thank you so much for stopping by. Just before I let you leave, let's quickly talk about your album one more time. What is your breaking point?
Yes.
It's out on all stores, yes?
It's out on all platforms. Bantu, what is your breaking points? You can also hit us up on socials at Bantu Crew, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and yeah, we're just doing our bit to further the conversation, amplify the voices of the voiceless, and just keep everyone on their toes, those people that claim to be representing us.
Fantastic. I know that some visuals are already ready. So what videos are we looking out for?
We have a new video. It's called Your Silence. It's the first video with a sign language instructor. So we worked with somebody doing signing, and that was a beautiful experience, because for people that are hearing impaired, you know, we feel like it's important to engage them with music. So this is the first video of its kind by a Nigerian group that actually features a sign language instructor. So I'm very, very proud of it. It's worth checking out. It's called Your Silence. And there are more videos. Jakpa Jakpa, the song you played, yes. We're shooting the video next week, and it should be out in 2-3 weeks. So yeah, we're busy. We're doing what we have to do, you know.
All right, thank you so much for stopping by one more time. I'm going to bring you back again.
Thanks,
Kayode. We need to talk more about what's going on in Nigeria, particularly when we're looking at the stories making around in the news. But
Thank
really
you.
quickly, how can the people out there find you on social media?
As I said, at Bantu Crew or at Ade Bantu, follow us, like us, scream at us, do whatever you feel is right. But yeah, we look forward to engaging you. And the name of the group, Bantu, and the name of the album, What Is Your Breaking Point?